Welcome to my beginner's guide for Hell Let Loose in 2022. This video has been made for first time players in mind, but it could also help out veteran players. If you like Hell Let Loose and other FPS multiplayer content, then subscribe to the channel. I've created chapters for each part of this video, so check out the description below to jump to whatever part you want to. First, let's check out some gameplay options, and I will explain the meanings behind some of them and the settings that I would recommend. First, manual bolt cycling. I play with this off, but if you switch it on, then when you use a bolt action rifle such as the Kar98K or the Mosin Nagant, after you fire the weapon, you need to press fire again to cycle in another round so you can actually fire it. Dead bodies despawn delay. I would put this down to its lowest of 0.5 minutes. This helps with performance as dead bodies will despawn after 30 seconds. Show command messages. When this is set to yes, when the commander uses an ability such as a bombing run, a message will appear in the chat to say that the commander has used an ability. I play with this off as it can get a bit spammy at times. Now, nameplates. By default, I believe these are set to 500 meters, and what this does is control how far away you can see friendly names and their blue or green dot. I play with these set to 250 meters to help reduce on-screen clutter. There's also the nameplate occlusion setting though, and this hides the nameplate info of any friendly units that you cannot see. So enabling this helps to further reduce on-screen clutter, and it does help to give you a more immersive experience. I know for the console versions at the time of recording this video, this setting isn't in the console version yet, but it will be coming. Just a quick mention on ADS toggle here. If this is on, then you have to click your mouse to aim down sight, and your character actually aims down the sight after you click, so once your finger has left the mouse button. If you have this off, then you just need to click and hold your mouse to ADS. Putting toggle off will let you ADS a tiny bit quicker against toggle on. While this is only a tiny improvement, it's still quicker and it could save your life. I will be making a more in-depth video settings and graphics video, focusing on performance and what's good for the looks of the game against how well it performs, so subscribe to the channel if you need help on performance, because that will be coming soon. But the settings I will suggest here is to use the community TAA for anti-aliasing, view distance on epic as this will render objects further away, because sometimes if you play on high you will see someone far away, but you'll shoot them and your bullet will hit an invisible piece of cover, but this piece of cover will show for you on epic. The foliage setting controls how far away that foliage, the grass and bushes, will render. Setting this to its lowest setting of medium will help to improve your performance, and it will help with spotting enemies. And I think pretty much everyone plays with medium for this setting. Just turn SSAO off. It's a big performance hit, and it doesn't increase the visual quality of the game enough to justify its performance hit. Shadows as well also affect your frame rate in a big way, so I would suggest putting shadows on low or medium. Now this is just for PC players, but you can give yourself a nice performance improvement to the game by right clicking on the game in Steam, click on properties, then in launch options type in -DX12. Just doing this will help you out big time. Some people report extra stutters while playing with DirectX 12 enabled, but what I like to do when I first load into a game is really I just spin around a couple of times, and you will feel those stutters as you spin around, but in my opinion it helps to reduce or get rid of those stutters you may experience later on. Now onto audio options. Some players do get a slight performance increase by setting the quality to epic, so give that a try, but in general I would put the audio quality to epic anyway because it gives you a better experience. Now set your microphone setting to 50%, and when you first get in game, do a mic check with your squad to see if your mic volume for them is too high or too low, so then you can adjust it. The barracks is where you track your overall rank and the rank of each of your roles. You can also change your appearance for each role, and as your role rank increases you can unlock extra cosmetics. Some cosmetics are unique to certain roles, such as this medic helmet. You can also change your role loadout. Your loadout will change what weapon you will take into combat, along with different equipment. Some of these loadouts can drastically change how the role will play, such as the engineer's sapper loadout. The main engineer loadout is to build fortifications, but the sapper loadout is designed to blow them up. You unlock these extra loadouts by leveling up the role. Now let's take a quick look at each role. The Commander. They command the overall battle by communicating with squad leaders, and they can also use abilities such as Bomb and Run, Supply Drop and Strafe and Run. The Commander is a key role in winning the battle. I would recommend getting experience in every role, especially an officer, before trying out the Commander. The officer commands a squad. They communicate with their squad in squad chat, and they have access to the voice command chat with the other squad leaders and the Commander. They place down outposts for their squad and can build garrisons, which are spawn points for the entire team. You need a good officer. If you're going to be playing as an officer, make sure you use your voice communication. A lot of servers have rules for this, so if you don't have a mic or if you don't want to use your mic, I wouldn't recommend playing an officer. The Rifleman is like the default standard role for the game, and everyone in your squad apart from your officer can play as a Rifleman, unlike every other role in the game where there can only be one person for that role in your squad. Riflemen are useful. There's nothing really special about them, but they do have access to an ammo box, which, of course can replenish your ammo. So they are good to have around. The Assault is what I would call the close quarters combat specialist. They are usually equipped with weapons that are suited to close quarters, and they can be a little bit tricky to play because if they do have the SMG, like the Thompson MP40 or PPSH, they are tricky to use at range because the SMGs are just generally weak at range. They're good for suppression, and if you can land those headshots, then yeah, you'll be awesome as the Assault. But make sure you get in close, use your smoke grenades to give yourself some cover, and then you'll be able to wreak havoc. The Automatic Rifleman is a great role. It generally comes with an automatic rifle, such as a BAR or an STG-44, and there's nothing sort of special about the role. They're just really designed to suppress and kill. You don't need to be aware of any unique piece of equipment you've got. You just get the gun and just kill. The Medic, well, their primary function is to revive and heal friendlies. All the roles in the game will come with 2 bandages, but the Medic comes with a hell of a lot more. So if you have a Medic nearby and you're bleeding, make sure you get that Medic to use their bandage on you to save your own bandages. They can also revive players. Having a good Medic in your squad really improves the effectiveness of your squad. In my opinion, it is a really good role to play because everyone loves medics. There's not really enough medics in the game, and whenever there's a medic around and they're healing and reviving, it's just great. The support's primary function is to put down supplies, so other roles such as the officer and the engineer or even the anti-tank can use these to actually build things. The engineers need them to build their fortifications and put down resource nodes, the officers need them for garrisons, and the anti-tanks in their rank 3 loadout can actually use them to build an anti-tank gun emplacement. If you're playing support, make sure you stick close to your squad leader. Machine gunner, well, they carry a big machine gun. They can deploy it with a bipod on walls, windows, pretty much anything. And if you get into a good position as a machine gunner, you can just destroy so many people so quickly. And you are the best person at suppressing people. I don't play the machine gunner very often because I don't like being in that stationary position. I like to move around a lot more. But the machine gunner can bring so much to your squad. If you get a good machine gunner, just having that one guy with the machine gun can suppress an entire enemy squad, so your squad can move around the flanks. It opens up a lot more. So if you're a good machine gunner, stick to that role because it's awesome. The anti-tank, their default loadout comes with a anti-tank rocket launcher, such as a bazooka or a Panzerfaust. Well, the Soviets do get an anti-tank rifle, which isn't really good at actually destroying tanks. It's great at destroying the tank tracks though. But their later loadouts can come with a wrench to build an anti-tank gun emplacement, which are awesome at destroying tanks. The anti-tank role is a need in every squad, I would say, because that rocket is so versatile. Not only can you take out multiple people with it if you shoot it inside a building, you can also take out garrisons from long range of it, and of course destroy all vehicles. Anti-tank is a great role. The engineer, I did touch on them earlier. They can build resource nodes, which your team needs to call in bomb and run, supply drops, other special abilities. They can also build up fortifications in the area, such as barbed wire, bunkers, just extra walls for extra cover. They can also put down a whole bunch of mines, anti-tank and anti-personnel mines. The engineer is definitely one of those key roles because of the resource nodes, which I'll touch on to later in the video. A tank commander is the leader of an armor squad. It's not that much that's special about them, pretty much. They lead the squad, but they cannot build an outpost or a garrison. And the crewman just fills up the other parts of the armor squad. They pretty much just come with a pistol and a blowtorch to repair tanks. The spotter's primary function is to lead the sniper and spot people for them. The spotter acts like a squad leader as they can build outposts and garrisons. If you're a sniper and you have a good spotter, just keep an eye on your surroundings and spotting people for you to kill. It can be a great experience. And well, the sniper comes with a sniper rifle. It's the only role that gets the sniper rifle or a scoped rifle, and sniping in this game is awesome. Each of these roles in the game can unlock additional loadouts which change the primary weapon and equipment available to them. There is no weapon customization in this game, so don't expect to be putting on red dot sights or a drum magazine onto an M1 Garand like in Call of Duty Vanguard. Now let's hit enlist, get onto the server browser and getting into your first game. So the server browser you are seeing here is for the PC version only. Hopefully it will come to the console version soon, but here you can see the server name, and some of the servers have language rules like German only or French only, so if you don't speak the language, don't join the server. You can also see the current map, the player count, game mode, and your ping to the server. With the ping, the lower is better. I'm in England and I regularly play on US East Coast servers where my ping can be between 100 and 170, and I don't have any issues. But on the right you can see how many VIP slots the server has. VIP slots are basically reserved slots for certain players. Also you can see how many players can be queued to join the server and how many people are in the queue. You can also favourite a server by clicking the star next to the server name. Then navigate using the tabs at the top to see your favourited servers, the servers your friends are playing on, and the servers you have previously played on. I would recommend playing on community ran servers and not the Hell Let Loose official servers. This is because the community servers have active admins, so if there are team killers, cheaters or toxic players, you can call for an admin and they will handle it. On the official servers there are no admins. Hell Let Loose has two game modes, Warfare and Offensive. Warfare is the more commonly played mode in Hell Let Loose, and in this mode you can win in two ways. One is to capture the enemy's last control point, but to capture that you need to capture the other capture points on the map, and only 2 points are active at one time. These points are the one your team controls and the one the enemy controls, apart from the very beginning of the map when there's only one active point, which is the neutral middle point. You need to push the enemy back to their HQ and then capture it. The other way to win is to control the most control points when the time runs out. The key to this mode is balancing your team's attack and defense. Make sure your control point has not been abandoned, as it's a quick way to lose the game. One thing that Hell Let Loose does is randomize the control points. So for example on this map, here is one configuration of points, and side by side is another randomized one. The experience you get on the map can change based on the active points, and in my opinion it's a great thing in the game since it helps to keep each game fresh. Now that we've joined a game, your next choice depends on what type of experience you want. Do you want some infantry action? How about rolling around in a tank, or be a bit sneakier and snipe away? Whichever you decide, my recommendation would be to join an already existing squad, which you do by clicking this white arrow here. You can request to join a lock squad by clicking the same icon. If there is a microphone icon next to the squad's name, then the squad leader has set this to a VoIP only squad, so if you join it, make sure you use your microphone. The squads can also have a set designation: offense, defense, logistics or artillery. If the squad leader has chosen a designation, then that's what this squad's function will be during the battle. Once you have joined a squad, you now need to choose your role. All infantry roles are limited to one in each squad apart from the rifleman. If you are a beginner, I would recommend either picking the rifleman or automatic rifleman, as their functions are primarily just to kill and have no special equipment or ability, though the rifleman does have an ammo box that you can place down. Another good role is support, as with this role you'll be key in building garrisons that are spawn points for your entire team. The officer will need you close to them so you can place down your supplies and allow them to build a garrison. If you cannot decide on what role to take, then just ask the squad leader if he wants a particular role. Once you've selected your squad and role, you now need to spawn. You can spawn at one of 5 locations: your HQ, a garrison, an outpost, a half-track, or an airhead. Your HQ is your main base and cannot be taken by the enemy. Your tanks and your trucks will also spawn at your HQ points. A garrison is a buildable spawn point that your entire team can spawn on. A commander, officer, or spotter can build these, but they need supplies close to them. They can be built in friendly blue and the first 2 rows or columns of the enemy red sectors, but not within 200 meters of another friendly garrison. In friendly territory, a garrison will cost 50 supplies, and in enemy territory, they cost 100 supplies. If you spot an enemy garrison, you must destroy it. They can only be destroyed in one of several ways: going up to it and holding down your interact key, placing down a satchel charge next to it, shooting an anti-tank rocket at it, or a tank shooting it. If you manage to destroy an enemy garrison, it will cripple their ability to get reinforcements in. An outpost is built by an officer or a spotter, and it allows their squad to spawn on them. Outposts will have quicker spawn times than garrisons, and officers can build their outposts in friendly, neutral, and the first 2 rows or columns of enemy territory. The spotter's outpost can be built anywhere on the map. To destroy enemy outposts, you either need to get close to it and it just auto destroys, or you can destroy it with a grenade or a tank shell. An airhead is a commander ability. They can drop this behind enemy lines and it acts as a temporary garrison. It is very useful to launch surprise attacks on the enemy. If you are playing as an officer and you spawn on an airhead, make sure you get down an outpost as fast as you can. You can destroy airheads by holding down your interact key. The half-track is a new addition to the game, and it's a vehicle that spawns back at the headquarters, and when the engine has been turned off, it acts like a garrison. These can be deployed into an active garrison in friendly territory and the first 2 rows or columns of the enemy territory. If they are destroyed, it will cost the commander 300 fuel to spawn another. So now let's spawn in. So click where you want to spawn in and click deploy in the bottom right. Now we are in game, it's time to get into the fight. Notice your teammates. You can tell who they are by the uniform and by their names being visible, along with a blue icon to show what role they are. Enemy soldiers will not have any icons above their heads, but soldiers with green icons above them are the ones in your squad. You should stick with your squad and focus on the same objective that they are, whether it's attacking or defending. And let's check the map to see the state of battle. You can see the objectives you control in blue, and enemy controlled objectives in red, and any neutral ones in grey. To capture an objective, you need to move into the sector where the objective is located. The 4 squares on the grid are the sector. Entering here will add you to the current capture of the sector. When you're in one of these squares, you will count as 1 soldier. If the total amount of attacking players outweigh the number of defenders, then the objective will start to capture. Now, do you see this hashed circle in the center? This is called the strong point, and being in this circle doubles your weight, although the commander can use an ability to triple your weight, whether you're attacking or defending. So getting in this circle is what you need to do, but you should also focus on controlling the area around the strong point. You need to look for and take out enemy outposts and garrisons to stop them from trying to reinforce their defense or to continue their attack. Once the last point has been captured, or when the time runs out, the game is over. In the offensive mode, you can only start to capture an area by being in the strong point. If you join an armor squad, your objectives are the same, but this time you're in a metal beast. Most of the tanks have 3 seats: the spotter, gunner, and driver. You should always have at least 2 people in each tank, as many servers have rules against solo tank play, and also you will be a lot more effective with more people in your tank. The tanks spawn back at the headquarters and they are spawned by the commander. Now each tank spawn costs fuel from the resource pool, more on resources later. Also, do not use multiple tanks per squad, only stick to 1 tank. To enter a tank, hold your use key. You need to start the engine before you can drive it, and you need to shift gears up or down to increase your speed. but note you will not be able to maneuver as well at higher gears, so shift down for tight corners. You can also reverse by shifting down. While driving, you also get access to a machine gun, and you can see where you are aiming by checking out this box here. The dot is where you are aiming. As a gunner, you can scroll up on your mouse, which will increase the zoom on your sight, and you can change the shell type as you have two available shells, HE for infantry and AP for tanks. You can also use your machine gun. The spotter can scroll up on the mouse wheel to use a periscope to keep an eye out for enemies and other obstacles. You sort of act as like a squad leader. There are two available trucks in the game, a transport truck and a supply truck. The transport truck can hold a total of 12 people, that's the driver and 11 passengers. These are a great way to get to the front line quickly or to try for a wide, cheeky flank. The support truck can carry 2 people, that's the driver plus 1 passenger in the front. Their function is to drop off supply crates to aid in building up fortifications, nodes and garrisons. They carry 2 crates to a value of 150 each. Both of these trucks can be respawned by the commander at a cost of 100 fuel. So I've mentioned supplies here and there so far, but what are these things? Supplies are needed to build all fortifications, nodes and garrisons in the game. A team that doesn't use its supplies would be a team that loses. And you can get supplies in several ways. Firstly, the support role can drop down a box of 50 supplies. They get their supplies back after a cooldown of 2.5 minutes, and they can half this cooldown if they walk within a radius of a manpower node. They don't need to stay in this radius, they just need to walk into it for a second and then they can step back out. Another way to get supplies is for the commander to drop 100 supplies from the sky. This can be risky as they parachute in and they are easy to spot. These are what the supply drops look like. If you see an enemy drop, then there could be enemies where it's dropping and they could be planning to build a garrison or some fortifications or even nodes. Report these drops in, head over there and take them out. The last way to get supplies is from the supply trucks. If you see enemy supplies anywhere, you should dismantle them by going up to them and holding your use key. Resources are needed for various things in Hell Let Loose. Firstly though, you can see how many resources your team currently has by opening up your map and looking at the top. We have munitions, manpower and fuel. They are generally used for commander abilities such as a bomb and run or to spawn in vehicles. Without resources, you are gonna have a tough game. To generate resources, your engineers can build nodes for 50 supplies per node, and they can only be built in friendly territory. I will have a 2022 version of a resource guide that will go into more detail on this out on the channel very soon, so subscribe to stay tuned for it. Playing as artillery may not be the most glamorous of positions, but it can be extremely devastating to the enemy. You can rack up a load of kills and make a significant impact on the match. I do have another guide on artillery which goes more into detail on this. Communication is key in Hell Let Loose. If you have a microphone, then use it. If you don't have one, don't worry because you can still have a great game. Just don't play as an officer or a commander as a microphone really is needed for those roles. When you are calling out bits of information or enemy positions, try to keep it quick and simple. Something like contact 200. That's just letting your squad know you've spotted someone at the compass direction of 200. The compass is at the bottom of your screen. You can also ping in this game, but a bad habit to get into is just to ping the enemy and just say enemy in my ping. At least give a direction to your squad to let them know where to look. If you are an officer or the commander, try to keep chatter in command chat down to a minimum. People don't need to know what you've had for breakfast. Keep it at the emergency level communication or some just urgent stuff. Or if you're planning something with other squads, don't spam command chat with useless information and useless chatter. Hell Let Loose is a tactical or realistic shooter, so every weapon in the game is deadly. The rifles will one hit kill you up to 200 meters. SMGs are 2 shots at close range, so you're gonna die quickly and a lot. A headshot with every single weapon will kill at any range. So when you are in combat, keep in cover or at least use some concealment. It's important to note that bullets can penetrate cover in this game, but it depends on the type of cover you have and the type of weapon being shot at you. Generally, small arms fire such as rifles will penetrate wooden cover, but not trees or stone. Remember, you can lean out of cover using Q and E. and if you get hit you will start bleeding out, so make sure you use a bandage. And bullets in Hell Let Loose do have physics, so when you are shooting distant targets you will need to compensate for bullet drop, and if you are aiming at a moving target you will need to aim ahead of your target to actually hit them. I have created guides for the weapons in the game which will show you where to aim, so check those out on my channel. And that should be enough to get you going in Hell Let Loose. As I said earlier on my channel, I've created a ton of videos for guides, tips and gameplay for Hell Let Loose. I also stream Hell Let Loose weekly, so subscribe to the channel to check those out, because I do like to squad up with subscribers. So I hope this video has helped you out, and if it has, please give it a like, and thank you for watching.